Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you to this, the 15th A4S Summit, held for the second year in virtual form. Our ability to connect across the world through technology has been one of the few silver linings from the past year or two, and one that I am sure will remain. But I do hope that next year we might be able to gather once again in person, allowing the free flow of conversation, a cup of tea, and possibly even a mince pie or two. So, as we look to recover from this pandemic, it is increasingly clear that human health, planetary health, and economic health are fundamentally interconnected. 17 years on from the time I established my Accounting for Sustainability project, A4S, and several decades more since I first started to talk and try to do something about these issues, we simply must seize the current window of opportunity to reimagine our global systems in a way that puts nature, people, and planet at the very heart of how we operate. At last year's summit, I talked about the establishment of my Sustainable Markets Initiative and the ways that you, the A4S community, could support its ambitions. Over the course of the past year, I convened a group of international CEOs to help develop a Terra Carta, a practical blueprint for action, and to catalyze the trillions of dollars needed for the transition to a sustainable future. Since then, I'm so delighted and grateful that many of your organizations have stepped forward to sign the Terra Carta. A4S is working with the SMI to contribute the vital skills that you, as finance professionals and accountants, can bring to convert the Terra Carta blueprint into action. A particular focus of this collaboration is the adoption of sustainability accounting, common metrics and standards, an area central to my A4S project since its inception. Now really is the time to move to unified metrics, global standards, and mandatory disclosure. As you will know only too well, there is a movement towards convergence of existing global standards among the standard setters, and that is of huge importance. Most recently, the IFRS Foundation has established its International Sustainability Standards Board, and regulators, including within the UK, EU, across Asia and the US, are putting in place mandatory requirements. Developing a single global standard for sustainability reporting will increase consumer trust in the social, environmental, and ethical credentials of products and services, and enable investors to channel finance towards sustainable outcomes at the scale so desperately needed. I cannot thank you enough, ladies and gentlemen, for all the effort to which so many of you have devoted your time and energy over the past 2 decades in order to get us to this point. Further, through new technologies, we have the ability to tag, track, and trace supply chains in unprecedented ways. So it is time to make this level of transparency the norm. Now, I would like, if I may, to summarize the 6 key actions set out under Article 9 of the Terra Carta that you can take, which will further the ambition and deliver the results required. Firstly, encouraging the continued convergence of standards and reporting towards a single universal framework. This is absolutely critical to accelerating progress towards sustainable markets and a sustainable future. Secondly, supporting the international business, financial, and accounting communities to complete the job of establishing a unified, coherent, global system of mainstream reporting of ESG factors in cooperation with regulators and leading voluntary standards. Thirdly, outlining opportunities to enhance global sustainability policy harmonization, integration, and coherence. Differences in policy across regions creates distortions in economic activity by changing the incentives of businesses and also increasing corporate costs. The net consequence is lowered productivity and allocation of resources to manage corporate compliance with policy differences, rather than productive activities such as innovation. Fourthly, integrating sustainability into management systems to bring parity of sustainability data with other business metrics, which will help to redefine value measurement and improve decision-making. Fifthly, improving company-wide understanding of sustainability standards, metrics and industry benchmarks, including for board members, employees, shareholders, clients, suppliers and consumers. And finally, focusing on the integration of data to enable sustainable value chains. These efforts aim to enable responsible decision-making, trust and transparency, while creating sustainability metrics at parity with other business data. Ladies and gentlemen, over the coming months, A4S will continue to work with the SMI and its 10 transition alliances to support these actions along the value chains of the highest emitting and polluting industries. Further, A4S is working with members of its global CFO accounting bodies and asset owner networks to develop practical guidance and examples, which I hope will be of assistance to all. This work will help to showcase examples of the 6 action areas that I have summarized as part of the first annual report showing progress against the Terra Carta. I can only urge you to contribute to this work if you possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cusp of a tipping point where sustainable business might finally become business as usual. The A4S community continues to grow with the newest chapter of the CFO Leadership Network now established in the Asia-Pacific region, and more of you making ambitious commitments as well as putting tangible roadmaps in place. There is no excuse for inaction. Indeed, those who do not act will be left behind. My Accounting for Sustainability project is providing you with the guidance, tools and training required. My only hope is that you can learn from these examples and take heart from the success of the members of the various A4S networks. Ladies and gentlemen, to seize this moment of acceleration, we simply must work together within and across all sectors of the global economy in order to transition rapidly to a sustainable future. It is easy to feel completely overwhelmed by the scale of the challenges we face. Instead, I can only encourage you to roll up your sleeves, set clear, short and long-term plans, and be energized by the opportunities that exist if we work together to create a vibrant, sustainable economy with nature, people and planet at its heart.